Hi friends! Today I wanted to talk a little bit about sponging color on your project. So I know we kind of talk about this every once in a while, but there's a lot of different things that you can do to get some different looks. So I was going to start out, I just stamped some of the poppies from the new set, and if you'll just take your ink and get it up on the sponge. Some people like to start off of the paper first and then come in. Okay, and by doing that, I'm going to show you what happens if you don't. You get kind of really even. If I go on here first and then go around, see how I get that glob of ink? Okay, and really you have to get pretty dark to get that glob to go away. Now, if you don't want to start off of the paper, I'll just start moving before I put my hand down, and that seems to take care of it to do the same thing. Notice these are a little bit light. All you'd have to do is go over them some more to make them darker. Okay, and that's just a quick, easy way to get it colored without sitting with your marker and just coloring. All right, so then I'm going to put the green on for the leaves, but I'm going to show you when I do this, instead of using the whole sponge, I'm going to pinch it like this. Okay, and in that way, I'm just getting the ink in a smaller area. So don't be afraid to pinch the sponge to make it the size that you'd like to make it. Now, if you want the whole larger area to be green, certainly you can use the whole sponge. But look how quick and easy this was and made a great background. So you just pop it on some cardstock, put your greeting on the top, and you've got a very nice card. Okay, so for this one also, I stamped the images already before we're going to color. Sometimes you may want to sponge first, sometimes you may want to stamp first. In these I stamped first. Okay, now look, this looks not like too much the way that it is. All right, so then I'm going to take some crumb cake, and again I'm going to start off, see, I'm just swirling it around, and I'm start to move before I put it on there. Okay, but then to make it look kind of sandy, the other thing you can do is touch it like this. So instead of swirling it, and can you see how you get the textured look? Okay, and you'll get that by bouncing it up and down. All right, so then I would want to put some blue in here, and it looks like I've gotten a little bit too much bounce there or something. So then we'll put the blue in, and I'm using a relatively dark blue. So again, here I would start offside the paper and come in. I like for my edges to be darker anyway. So by doing that, and can you see I got a little bit of ink there? That was just a mistake. But by inking the color over this, you kind of can cover that up. Now notice on this one, I'm kind of staying away from the coral and the seahorse because I want to go back and color them in. So don't forget that you can just color in on top of where you've sponged. And again, you could have made him any color you like, and I'm not going to just sit and color. But just know that you can color over that, and the same thing for the coral. See here, even though I've already got some ink in there, this will come over it, and that blends very nicely. Okay, so that again, make a really cute card front. Okay, often we sell these papers, like we've had some of this foil paper lately. This was some that had embossed dots on it. This was some from last year that had the pretty leaves and things like that. These papers are a little more glossy, and it's like you can buy regular glossy cardstock, and when you get that, to me, the ink flows on very nicely. It does well on the Whisper White. It does even better on the glossies. So if you wanted to take a piece of this paper, and again, we'll just use the Poppy Parade since that's out. I just got it all over my thumb. I don't want to get that on the card. All you have to do on these is very quickly ink background. And on any of these that I'm using that has the embossed images on there, I like to then go back with a tissue and wipe it off. I, of course, did not get a tissue right here next to me, so I'm just going to take a piece of copy paper. But usually just use a Kleenex, and if you'll wipe it off, then your shiny embossed images will be the same. On these, if you want to keep going all the way down to make it much lighter at the bottom and then add more at the top, you can kind of get that ombre effect, and that's a really cool way to use the sponges. Okay, so we had, again, another time put Post-it notes to just kind of isolate one area of our paper, and then I just again took and sponged some color on here. Doesn't matter which color you start with. Some people say to start with the light and go to the dark. You know, it depends on what you're doing, but at the very end it's nice to go back and watch. I'm trying not to touch the white part because I've got ink on my hands, and that will definitely leave some fingerprints. Okay, so just by masking off with some Post-it notes, I think I even like it maybe a little bit better on that side. You've got a piece of paper that then you could stamp on, and I think I'm just going to stamp the dandelions, whoops, just because I like them, and maybe make a get well card out of this one. You know, I always think I've got everything already and then I'm missing something, so it was my block this time. Alright, so then stamp, and usually when I do this, I like it to stamp outside of where the color is. I think that adds something to it. I'll just stamp some words on there. Again, really quick and easy. And then I would mount that on my terracotta cardstock. Isn't that pretty? Okay. So then again, for a beach scene, we've done these before. I would, you know, take a circle, put it here, and do the yellow. Be careful that you don't come out too far, otherwise it'll, you know, you'll get ink around the outside. I just, again, sponged some crumb cake and some of the Marina, and then just stamped the palm trees right on top of it. So that was easy. But I wanted to get to this last one so that I could show you this really cool technique, and we're going to go back and use it also with our this one that we already did. All right, so I'm going to take a piece of white. This happens to be 1 3/4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to sponge some Highland Heather. Just kind of here and there. And then I'm going to use the Coastal Cabana to kind of fill this in, because I want it, I don't know, I like the purple and the kind of greenish blue together. I think they blend very nicely. And I want this to be not real dark, but you want it, I wouldn't have used yellow and you know, like a light pink or anything for this card, because now I want to go back and make water drops. So I had a spritzer, and you can use a spritzer, but the drops were so fine that I didn't notice them. So if I just took a paintbrush and wet it, and then just, you can see where the color's starting to pull out of where that was. And I have one that I've already done, You see how that gives it a really cool look? I'm going to go ahead, move this to the side because I'm going to finish that card. But I thought it might be nice also to do it on the blue of this Sea Life card. And we'll check that in a minute after it's had time because I didn't finish coloring anyway. But we'll check that one in a minute. Let it some color off of that. Okay, so now for this one, what I want to do is I want to take a piece of Whisper White and I want to sit this right on top of it. Okay, and I want to stamp, we're going to use the Dandelions again just because they worked out well before, except of course now I can't see where I put them. They're there. Okay. And black ink is here. And I'm going to stamp over top of this, okay? And I want them to be on either side. So I'm inking up my stamp. I saw somebody do one similar to this. All right, so we're just gonna put the, and you can put a little temporary tape on this to tape it down if you'd like. I'm just going to wing it since we are doing this live. Okay, and see how I have a little above and a little below. You typically will get a little white line, you know, where this paper meets that paper. So if you will then mount this piece, and of course I don't have my tape, so we'll just use a piece of tear tape right quick. Oh dear. The magic of live video. All right, and I'm just putting a piece on here so that you'll be able to see what this is going to look like, because it's going to be beautiful. And then mount that on the black. And then I will mount this on here. Like I said, I thought I was ready. And then, so that will go on here. This will go on there. And see how cool that looks? And then just add a little greeting down here. And that, I think that water droplet just really kind of adds something very cool. So I'm going to go back and look. You can see where this is drying, and it's going to have like a bubbly effect too on the Sea Life one. And I think that turned out really neat. So whether you sponge the whole background of the card, like we did on quite a few of these, or whether you just sponge a portion of it like we did on these, you can really get a lot of really neat effects when you are using the sponge and ink. So I hope you all have a great day. Bye.